Hi, good evening everybody. Today's show we start a little bit early. Official start time should be 7:30, but before that we have 5 minutes, so we wait for everybody to come in. So first of all, good evening for all Vancouver or West Coast of Canada and also USA. And for anybody in Hong Kong, will be good morning to you guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused about the time zone now. It's, I think it should be 10:25 in Hong Kong. Okay, we have enabled a new feature in this podcast and hope you guys will like it. I spent a little bit of time, not a little bit, but a few hours to make this work. So we'll be just like that. When you guys type in anything, I will show you guys comment and also your headline. If you guys are okay, you guys can type in something like say Garion from Vancouver, BC, Canada, something like that. So you guys can have fun. And if you guys have any comment you want to ask, and I think it's very interesting, I will pop it up so everybody in our channel can see this. What's the question, and everybody will know that someone asked this question about today's topic, Photoshop. Today's we'll cover most of the Photoshop fundamental ideas, like each tools, and explain to you guys what it does, and also explain a little bit about the layers. And we'll see if we have some time, we'll go into more details about like how we use the most updated feature of Photoshop. It's called the AI function. We can change certain things and also manipulate the photo more effectively. Originally, I can say without the AI implement into the Photoshop, I can say it's already very good. You can do a lot of things by all the tools it provides to you. The thing is, like, I think it's more automatic and easier for us to use this kind of how should I say, to use all the automatic tools to help us to do more function of Photoshop. So basically, we will wait a few more minutes and see if anybody like to leave some comments in our live chat, and we'll pop it up here and to show you guys something like that. I think this is quite cool. So you can see this kind of cool effect, and I quite enjoy this kind of thing, and can help you guys to also to show to others that you guys are having fun with this live chat and also this live section. And at the end, I hope that everybody will be able to learn more about Photoshop. Today is quite hot actually, so excuse me, maybe I have some fan noise around me. My computer is doing its best to yelling with me with how many RPMs, like 5,000 something RPM. So luckily I have used the Phantom Mini Pro for this broadcast, so every streaming compression details will be all done by Mini Pro. It won't do by my MacBook again. So today my computer will concentrate and do all the editing and Photoshop demonstration. I have on my right hand side, I have a 24-inch LG Mon, and then I will mirror it to another USB-C to HDMI output to my Phantom Mini. The main screen of my laptop will display my Phantom software control, and also will have some display that you guys are listening to some song. I need to make sure that all the audio is correct. One time I broadcast and then the audio is really bad. And also I have a small monitor in front of, actually just down here, down from the camera, so I can see multi-view of each cam, what is showing. And also I have what we call the companion installed. So I can do some trick like I can play a video and press, and then this is not by the what we call the this is not what we call the how to say, this is not what we call the hyperdeck. I use kind of like a Raspberry Pi to mimic this kind of output to allow my A10 Mini to use it as hyperdeck, so we can play some video. But today we will not cover that too much. And so now it's 7:30. Let's get started, and we'll show you guys how to the fundamental of Photoshop. Okay, let's start. Okay, so on our main screen, I turn off the comment. On our main screen, you guys can see I load up photos already. It's Mount Fuji. So I will start to explain to you guys about all the tools, and there's something that when we import this photo, the first photo I show to you guys is a JPEG. The reason I load up a JPEG is because I will demonstrate to you there's a RAW format here. If I I do it incorrect. If I drag the what we call the RAW format to Photoshop, you will pop up this what we call the camera raw editing. This is kind of like a Lightroom. We can do it from here to do some of the like the optical correction, like the what we call the exposure, contrast, shadow, everything. We basically we can do many things in this raw camera input to Photoshop. But right now we want to concentrate on the tool first, and later I will explain to you guys how to do this camera raw and what to do. It's better if I think for photographer it's better to have some knowledge about Lightroom before we continue to Photoshop. Lightroom is relatively more easy to learn, so but I start up in Photoshop before I learn Lightroom. It's on reverse, because I start up as a graphical designer and a multimedia editor. So I learn Photoshop first and then Lightroom. But when I teach people, I will say if for photographer, it's better to start with Lightroom. Photoshop has really too many tools for us. It's a little bit confusing sometimes. So okay, let's dive into it. First things is called the Move tool. This Move tool has two of them. One is called Move tool, and then the other one is called Artboard. Basically, when I drag on the photos, I have to convert to a layer, and then I can move it anywhere you want. And of course, you can import more layers to it, and I will explain to you guys about what is layers later then. So first tool in the top left hand side is called Move tool. It's basically just move things or any object or smart object or layers or anything that is like an individually object of this one you just can move around. Okay, the second one is a little bit confusing, and it's better to understand it a little bit more. This is actually what we call a select tool, but it's a little bit different than other select things, because usually it only select one layer. For example, if I let's say I duplicate this to 2 layers, and then maybe I just on this layer I just delete everything. Oops, sorry. Like this, and I just find the eraser. This is patch tool, eraser here. I use a very big eraser. So you see I erase the mask area. If I don't select it and I erase everything again. Okay. So I do the select again. Sorry for the big eraser. So I only select this part. If I select the wrong layer and I copy and paste, this one will say it's empty. There's nothing for you to copy. So you have to make sure you select always the correct layer before you do any copy and paste. So this is the basic selection area. After you select any area, after you select any area, for example, if I want to edit on the bottom layer, I can, as I demonstrate already, we can use maybe this time not too big, maybe just something that we can see. We just erase some parts of the of this one. Okay, we don't waste time too much. Don't waste too much time now. Okay, and then if I say I want to show back the first layer, it will just perfectly be fine. And then if I select the upper layer, copy and paste, I will select only this part. So we have to remember, if we use the select tool, make sure you also highlight the correct layer when you do all the copy and paste and editing. Otherwise, let's say maybe this layer is actually what we want, but we damage it or do something. There's always an undo for you to like a Control C, or in Mac will be command, like a Command C, for you to undo all the not correct editing. But then make sure that you just select the correct one. Okay, and then this one is the lasso tool. Lasso tool is kind of like selective tool. I will say open more files for me to play with. Desktop. Let's open manage. Which one I have? Many of them are JPEG. Okay. Let's say you will have many raw format you want to import. But anyway, we just say we open all of them. Okay, we open all of them. Let's say, for example, this one, I want to, maybe I think this one is okay, it's good enough. For lasso tool, is also kind of like a select tool. So for example, if you try to track as close as possible, the peak, oh, my mouse skill is really bad today. Okay, try to enclose it as close as possible, and you will try to smooth out the line. And this is the way that we can select things that we'll try to kind of like select based on what you draw. The thing is, it might not be very effective. Okay, the reason why it's not very effective is it's basically based on what our editing skill. For example, just like now, it's kind of terrible, and it won't be really effective to edit in this way. So there's another tool called magnetic. This one. Magnetic lasso tool. What it does, it will try its best to attach the contrast area. Of course, it will try. Okay, you see, peak doesn't really work very well. Okay, it's way better than before, but still you can see many areas is not really ideal. This is the thing that the old time when we start up with Photoshop and everything, we have this kind of difficulty to select very precise, when especially we have so much feather or hairs. And then we have another thing called object selection. Let's say we do this one. We do the similar thing. This one I will try not to move into the head of the eagle too much. Okay, I will try like this and let it calculate a little bit, and voila, you can see it does a way better job than I can. Okay, so this is a great help, what we call the object selection tool. And I see if I have nope, not yet. I should open up the this one. Okay, this thing is a smart object. No, I don't want a smart object. What is the number? Okay, number 2666. Open 2666. Yeah. Okay. I found it. Sorry, it's a little bit slow today. Okay. Here, this is especially useful. When you have so many people here, you want to remove something. Let's say this couple is at the beach, and I think they are very happy. But just that I don't want to have them here, so I can select like this with their shadow. And the computer will try its best to calculate on the edges and find those two persons. See, unfortunately, there is still a shadow we should need to include. So you can press the shift, and then you can see my mouse cursor change with a plus sign. Okay, or if you push on the alternate, also in PC will be just the same. You can see the minus sign. What it does is all the selection tool you can press the shift or alternate. It will just the same. So then you press the shift key and then you circle again the shadow. And it will do its best to include the shadow as well. But of course, it's not really 100%. It doesn't really work really like perfect. So you will have to fine tune it by yourself. I will later on to show you how to replace this kind of object on the bridge or on anything to be more present for the overall photos then. Okay, so basically you guys has to remember, especially this one, the object selection tool is really useful. Quick selection tool is similar to what we have. For example, if I there should be something we can you see this one, we can change the brush size to maybe a little bit bigger to this one. For example, I want to select this rock. Okay, so you can see it's like stretch it bigger on your mouse pad. For PC, you can do the same similar thing. For mouse, if you want to, just scroll, press the alternate key and scroll the wheel of your mouse. You can scale it up or zoom out or zoom in. Okay, so basically I tell you guys about three of the main tools about select object, quick selection, and magic wand. Magic wand is more like to select the background. For example, if the background now is like a solid background, I want to key out my model. So you can see it will try to do its best to include the color in old time, and or if your object is kind of in a back like a green screen, this is really useful. And also you can tell basically almost done except the hair, right? Unfortunately, in order to really fine-tune all this, you have to use all those other object tools to select. Did I? Hello? Okay. Sorry, I worried that my mic was off because the scale isn't on there. Okay. Okay, someone say hello and hello, Andrew. Okay, so for basically, if you guys want to continue to select these things, you have to use this. If you want to select more area, you can use the shift one. For example, if I want to remove some of the selected area, maybe I use back the beach example. That will be easier. Then I can say I can use maybe the lasso tool. Just say I want to remove it. This one is the original selection. This one is with more. This one will be subtracted. So I just circle this part and you will subtract the thing that you don't want to. So this is the basic tool selection idea. This is really useful because later on we will base on this selection to do most of our manipulation. For example, I don't like this rock, we select it and then we remove it. Okay. This one is what we call the cropping tool. Cropping tool is kind of like it's quite intelligent. If you select something, it will think that something like we want to crop in. So you can see, so automatically crop in into this way. Or I can first zoom out a little bit and then use the crop tool again. You can see you can drag like that anywhere, any direction you like. Okay, the thing with this one, you guys have to remember, you have to press the command key. Which one? Yeah, the shift key. Sorry, you have to press the shift key. Sometimes I have a little bit confused as well. When we press the shift key, we can scale it like in proportion. Even your mouse is not moving perfectly. So this is something that we have to aware when we do this kind of cropping. We can press the shift key to allow us to crop it like with the correct or original ratio proportion. Okay. So the next one will be the eyedrop pad. Eyedrop pad is a tool to select the color of Photoshop. For example, I want to check what is the sky color. I can just here and you can see here the blue is here, or maybe the white. You can see over on here this side it's not really white, and you can press it and hold it, and you will find it will change to other color. For the upper half of the circle is what we call the new color, and the bottom half is the old color. This is especially useful when you use this tool to help your design and also make sure that everything on the same layout will be just the same, especially for 2D design, I should say. Okay. This one is a spot healing tool. This is actually very useful with what we call the portrait photography. Let's enlarge this one a little bit. Okay. Can you stop now? No. Okay, almost. So we select this healing tool again. Basically, maybe I change it to larger scale so we can. You see on the model face, there are some dimple mark. With this healing tool, or kind of like a spot healing tool, we can help to remove some of the what we call the skin imperfection manually. You just kind of like a shading. I hope you guys remember there is a little bit wet dots there, and then it's gone. So I undo it, it pop back up. And then if we use the edit and we say redo spot healing brush, okay, I think I need to enable turbo mode. The computer's kind of slow. Okay, this is the basic idea of the healing tool. So we select anywhere we think is not perfect, and you will try it best to guess and use all the color around it to heal. So this is really very useful for photographer. So we can know this tool can help our portrait to look better with the skin and everything. And then this one also is another healing tool. If you see the sample, it's kind of like the spot healing tool. Maybe I first undo this two spot and then just here. Okay, first we press this area with the alternate key. We press 1 and then and then you can we find some spot that is kind of like a matching color. We press the alternate key, and then if you move the cursor slowly, you can see there's a small white dot. Okay, we can use this to, maybe I increase the size more so you guys can see better. First I select an area here, and then you can see I can drag that area to help me to heal more. This is kind of like brushing with the data around the canvas, so we can do a better job. If I press it like here, and then it will be green, because I select the green area to be shade on that. But this is not something we want. We want to use the skin color as close as possible. The reason why we use this is because sometimes the automatic healing brush, healing tool, I should say, this one, spot healing tool, might not be really accurate. So this is something that we want to fine tune what I can say the Adobe cannot do. And then this is more like a patch. Patch is how I say, in the demo you can see you select the shoe, and then you try to help you to remove it. So I use back this portrait, zoom 200%. It's better to feel larger. I can show you guys better. Okay, stop moving. No. Okay, I really want to remove them out of the photo, so I select. Them. This is a very good example. And then you can see I can drag to someplace else, maybe somewhere that has similar texture. I drag it until I place it to more like the realistic one, and then go 100%, deselect everything, gone. So it's really simple. It's really quick. We can remove it. And then of course for this one, to make it to be more realistic, we have to remove the marks on the sand as well. So we use this one. Again, select all this here. Even maybe this one I don't like, and also the footprint, everything. Okay. And then I say, let's move it to something more realistic, something like that. Boom, gone. They I snap them out of existence, something like that. Okay, so this is the way to remove the object. And not only with sand, I can say it can do a really good job with the even with the clothing and the basket on the left hand side. The Photoshop is not cooperating with me really well, so okay, we just zoom in. I press okay. Let's say, for example, for this clothing. No. Okay, for example, here, I use the patching tool as well. And then select the clothes. Oh, I forgot to select the scedule. But it's okay. I can press the shift key and select more. Okay. This part may be too much, so I press the alternate key to remove it. And maybe I want to remove more, so it will be more close to what we should have. And then we move that to something else, or here. So, voila, it's gone. This is really useful, especially for the new Photoshop version. You can do this kind of editing really quick. And to get a very, I should say, professional result without much heavy editing. And then the next one is called the content aware fill. It's similar to this. Let's do the example for you guys. So we will select this couple, and let's move to another place. Maybe here. That part is too unbelievable. And then we say yes. Let it calculate a little bit. And voila. You see, we move the couple from one location to another one. We can flatten everything to, and also it's like a smart object. So what it does is you can enlarge it to make it bigger. Every time I find that if I do this kind of demo, my computer will be really slow. The thing is, it really uses up a lot of the what we call the CPU and GPU's processing power. So you know, it's really working quite hard, and that's why we don't have this in the history. So if we enlarge it, something like that. But you know, it's not really normal from there to here will be so big. But this is the thing, when you select something and if you want to move it to another place, it will be so easy, you can just move it over there. It's not too difficult. Okay, so I think I have to speed up a little bit. Our class has passed half, but I haven't gone too much. The below tool will be quite simple, so we can speed up a little bit. Brush tool, very simple idea. We just have select the color and then we can draw on it. Let me grab another canvas to do it. For example, I can just draw on it. The reason why I cannot draw on the beach one is because I haven't selected the correct layer, and it's still thinking I'm selecting the smart object of the couple. So the thing is just And then now I can draw. I think I should be able to draw. And also remember, you have to not drawing outside the selection tool. You have to draw on the selection tool as well. Or not select within the selected area, I should say. Okay. And then the next one is called what we call the stamp tool. Stamp tool is to let us to copy some pattern around the photo to another place. For example, I want to what should I use to do this example? For example, I want to copy the mountain to the right hand side. We choose a larger, I should say the paintbrush, and then I can start painting. Nope. Chrome tool. Okay, now we have the mountain. So you can see, we can draw the mountain. The reason why we have the red dots is because I cloned from another photos. So this is something that you can do. It's a little bit tricky. You have to click on to some photos. For example, okay, let's say to use the model eye. Okay, we say we copy this one, and then we can over here. You can see the eye start to. It's a little bit creepy. Okay. You can clone another files object and then paste it. The thing is, in here you can see it's not in the same proportion. It will change a little bit, depends on your actual photo size. This is the actual photo size, and you can see it's still way smaller in this one because this photo, the resolution is way more. And this one I have cropped in the photo, so that's why it's when I copy and when I use the clone tool, the eye is smaller. If you want to make sure, if you want to do the same thing, you have to make sure that both canvas has to be the same, or I should say both image has to be identical. Okay, in size wise. And then this one is arch brush style to paint some. Kind of also like a painting something. This one is erasing tool. We checked it before. Erase will be depends if you use which kind of erase. The reason why you see is erasing doesn't seem to have any effect is because I have enabled the bottom layer. And I'm drawing on the layer, upper layer. So when I erase, I still show up the bottom layer. If I move that one, I will have this one here. Okay, it seems like I didn't do anything, but actually every layer I have damaged it. Okay, and this is the second layer. It's like this. Gradient tool is something for you to fill up the gradient. You can see the example like that. This one is called blur tool. It is also kind of like a healing tool or something you want to blur out. For example, I see maybe her spot is too big. I can use this blur tool to help to smooth out a little bit. But if you do it too much, it will feel really plasticky. This one is another thing. It's called sharpening tool. Let's say we use her nose, or maybe I use her eyelash to do it. I change it more sharp here. You can see the eyelash is getting more and more sharp, and now it's kind of ridiculous now, and her white color of eye is really scary now. Okay. So this is the tool. Usually just one pass or a little bit, not like I did before. It's like tons of them. It's really bad. Okay, this is called the dodge tool. Dodge tool, there is actually a dodge tool and a burn tool. Dodge tool, as it said, it will make it brighter. Very useful when you have to remove like an eye bag like this area. Very, very useful. And then the burn tool is to make the shining part to less shining. You can change the exposure to more or less, depends on what you need. Maybe this time is too much, I change it instead of 80, maybe I do 90%, then just a little bit, no, too much. Ow. So make sure just a little bit. If we use the dodge tool or burn tool too much, it will feel really weird, really weird. So usually I suggest you'll be using light. When we actually take the photo, try to get it to as close as what you want. Try to do less post-processing, because this kind of editing, it generates some very strange effect. You can see the nose here is a little bit more orangey. Okay, text tool is really simple. You just press it and then you type out some text. It's really not much new idea. Okay. Okay, I think it seems to load a lot of fonts to this system. Can it? Okay, here. And then after you select the fonts, you can drag it to bigger. And then double click on it to retype. Oh, not hello. Okay. And then you can make 3D text as well. This one is just to draw some lines. It's very simple, just draw the lines. And this is path selection tool. You can select some object. This is the moving parts, for example, moving the whole photos. This one with the hand, you can you just drag the whole hand tool, pan the image. This one, select the path. But if you want to move the hello, the text, you have to select back the moving tool to be able to do it. Okay, so this will be the basic tools idea, and there are quite a lot of toolbars. I will try to explain to you guys more. Single column key tool is to select only one vertical row pixel. This one is to select one horizontal row pixel. This will be more useful when you try to do web graphic. And then slicing tool to slice something. Ruler tool to get the ruler. You can see there are really tons of them. Red eye tools, just count tool is to make sure that you can count the thing on the whole photos, to let you to just count it. Sometimes there are too many things. You need something for you to help you count. Otherwise, you have to print it out and mark 1, 2, 3. It will be so difficult. Red eye tool to remove the red eye. Paint bucket is more like to fill the color. Rectangle tool to just make a rectangle shape. Ellipse is also make an ellipse shape. Polygon line, everything is about drawing tool. They bring from photos, I should say, Adobe bring this kind of drawing tool from Illustrator back to Photoshop. So then we can use Photoshop to do all this kind of photo manipulation with kind of like we can do it in Illustrator. So you don't need two tools to do it so difficult. It's more easy for you to do everything on at the same time. It will be easier. So, and then I will explain more detail about the layers now. For layers, what we call for example, we use this one. The layer is something that we can draw or manipulate in each, kind of like a slide on top of each other, but they can interact like a paper or a actual transparent slide. What I mean is like this: you can drag, for example, I drag this kind of like a Sakura image here as a separate layer or smart object. When they import it, will become a smart object. In here, the thing is, for layers, there are actually, as I say, there are different kinds of manipulation. You can use the normal one, which is kind of like paper, and then once you change the opacity, it will give you the illusion it's like double exposure. And then there are tons of other concepts like darken, multiply, color burn. Each of them will be different: darker, color dodge, and I think I should move this part to here, this one back to normal, and they can for example, if I use a screen, they can move it like multiple layer. So if you're doing this layer things, you have to make sure that every layer, you have to work on every layers. If you are familiar with Illustrator or all those vector design graphic things, it will be easier for you to understand how this work. If you are not very familiar with Illustrator, basically it's kind of like a slide or what we call a paper, depends on how you change the opacity. And also, for one thing, if you remember on the demo about the Mount Fuji, you can have layers to do different things. For example, if you guys remember, I have the Mount Fuji in the center. I can move it to the top part and then move the layer to the top. And then the Mount Fuji will at the other direction. You can treat it really like an individual object. Of course, you can scale it, stretch it, anything, any way you want. So it's really powerful, especially useful when in the future, like this kind of photo, you really need to manipulate this couple to be more realistic, to like here. The thing is, if we move it, we have to make sure that they don't leave the white mark, okay? One trick is, before you do any this kind of editing, we duplicate the layer. And then we use this part to move to others. Oh, sorry. Oh, we use the smart object again. Maybe I select these three person here. Move them to move them to here. And if we want to scale this part up, we can still always have the background, not to not to leave any white space. When we move it here. The reason you don't see any white space is because I have this. You can see it now, right? So actually it's because of the background. It's always there, so you can have this. This is one of the tricks that you can always protect your, give out everything, I should say everything in here. And then afterwards, you can merge everything together to one simple layer again. So this will be the easiest way to manipulate the photos. And about how to use the layers. And of course, there are way more. About each layer, you can change the FX. I have to create another layer first. And then use that layer, we can have the FX, we can have a small, we can change the emboss, color, outgoing thing. We can change all the exposure and everything, photo filter, channel filter, anything. We can manipulate on each layer itself. So it's really, really great. Okay, now I want to show you guys back the about importing the RAW format. I will select okay. Don't save. Okay, let's open again. Yep, I think I opened too much RAW format. Okay, let's say this one. When it opens, as I say, it will have a special pop-up box like this one. This is really like Lightroom. You will have all those basic camera like a Lightroom setting. We have the white balance as short. You can change the temperature here. For example, maybe it's too blue, too white, or as short. You can change it to automatic. I think as short is way better. And then we can change the optic correction. We can use you can see here the lens correction, the profile and everything. And then also the purple, like how to fit all those color error, you can fine tune in here. Effects, grain, more noise, digital added noise, calibration. In case you have different, what we say, the color profile for cameras, then you can use it to fine tune in here. But for me, I always will not really touch on them. My workflow for working on this RAW image, usually I will do everything for RAW in Lightroom first, and then export everything in PNG. The reason why I don't export in JPEG is because PNG will keep most of the data, and you still have all the color and dynamic range to work with Photoshop. And also, I don't have to worry anymore about so complicated process to work on with the Photoshop. So this is the workflow usually I work on, and also why I don't want to show you guys at the beginning why and how to import this. I deeply think it's way easier to use what we call the Lightroom to import RAW format and then change it to PNG and then import back to Photoshop. One more thing, the one last thing I want to explain to you guys is the all the image. There are actually few style or color style, 8 channels, 16 channels, 32 channels. Normally for photo editing, 8 channels RGB is the best. Or unless you do a lot of gradient things, you want to make sure all the gradient color is correct. You might want to change it to 16. If not, keep it to RGB. If you want that project to be exported to print shop to let them to print it out, don't use LBG at any time. Use it in CMYK. That is the print color. If you use incorrectly, if you use LBG and give it to print shop to print it out for your like a 2D project, like a kind of like a brochure or something, you will find the color will be very dull. It will not be sharp as the RGB. So make sure that you change to CYMK for any logo or any 2D or print brochure things for you to use it. Okay, so that's conclude about Photoshop fundamental. Hope you guys can learn a little bit more about how to use Photoshop tools and everything. For one thing, I find it's best to really get this software and use it every day or try to use it a while to make sure you feel comfortable with it. It's not easy to memorize all the settings and everything. We might not be working with tons of or thousands of photos every day. So it's really good to really practice on it. Okay, so thank you for everybody and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye bye.